Good morning and good evening. Welcome to Sri Aurobindo and Mother's Study Circle, in which these days we are doing a book study on the compilation Looking from Within by Dr. A S Dalal, based on the words of Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So, last week, and from the last 2 weeks, we have been doing this section called, reading the section called The Meaning of Circumstances. And we have been going through it. And so we'll take it up further. So these are the last two sentences that we had read, which were very beautiful. So we'll reread these, and obviously is where we had to start with today. So just to start, I'll just read these two. So here Sri Aurobindo says that, "O misfortune, blessed be thou, for through thee I have seen the face of my lover." So again, hinting at how I think that misfortune is bad. And yet, for someone who has seen it and, I don't know, gone through or touched abyss for the evolution, for the pulling down of the forces, Sri Aurobindo, he's saying that, "O misfortune, blessed be thou, for through thee I have seen the face of my lover, that without this I would not even have wanted to maybe try to find my lover." And the second one, "If through misfortune one sees the face of God, then it is no longer misfortune, is it?" So we are being asked and told this at the same time that, we are very logical, reasonable people. So now answer this, that if through misfortune one sees the face of God, then it is no longer misfortune, is it? So now we can conclude for ourselves, and maybe something in us shifts and we are able to see challenges and misfortunes in a different light. Or maybe there is less of, revolting, yes, of uproars that, oh my God, what is it happening? Why is it happening to me? So maybe that helps. This helps in, I don't know, shaking that ground of misery for us, that point. Yeah. Anything by anyone before we start today's new text? So if anybody is willing, they can please read for us, maybe 2 or 3 passages. We can take the whole one by the mother, starting from obviously. Thank you.
Obviously, far from being a misfortune, it is a blessing. And this is precisely what Sri Aurobindo means. When things happen which are not what we expect, what we hope for, what we want, which are contrary to our desires, in our ignorance, we call them misfortunes and lament. But if we are to become a little wiser and observe the deeper consequences of these very same events, we would find that they are leading us rapidly towards the divine, the beloved, whereas easy and pleasant circumstances encourage us to daily to the path, to stop along the way to pluck the flowers of pleasure which present themselves to us and which we are too weak or not sincere enough to reject resolutely. So that our much forward so that our march forward is not delayed. One must already be strong, be far along the way to be able to face success and the little enjoyments it brings without giving away. Those who can do this, who are strong, do not run after success. They do not seek they do not seek it and accept it with indifference, for they know and appreciate the value of lashes given by unhappiness and misfortune. But ultimately, the true attitude, the sign and proof that we are near the goal, is a perfect equality which enables to accept success and failure, misfortune and fortune, happiness and sorrow, with the same tranquil joy. For all these things become marvelous gift that the Lord in his infinite solicitude showers upon us.
Yeah, thank you so much, dear. So this is a passage by the mother, and just to remind us, these passages are under the section of circumstances. So they are just trying to show us, because a lot of times we don't pause to see things for what they truly are. We see things very superficially. And in the Vedas and even Thai quoting him, he says that if you touch one thing with deep awareness, you touch everything. But because I'm so enamored, so influenced by the superficial, I don't see things for what they are. And this is why, such study circles and such texts are needed to show that, oh, what you are calling as misfortune, have we looked at what it has given you? Because, the purpose of life, of human birth is progress and evolution. And it's not comfort and settlement and ambition. I say this so often. I mean, we say this so often, but yet this is something that needs to be said because we are very strongly, very fast running in a direction which is not giving us anything, which is okay if, that's how it is. But at least if we can start seeing now, maybe we can change. Talking about misfortune, this paragraph begins with obviously, far from being a misfortune, it is a blessing. And if, we are able to transcend the emotions, especially, and the little me, which is usually the center of all the problems, we'll for sure see that it's not a misfortune, it is a blessing. And this is precisely what Shri Aurobindo means. When things happen which are not what we expect, what we hope for, what we want, which are contrary to our desires, in our ignorance, we call them misfortunes and lemons. We are sad. We say, why is it happening to us? Because in my veil of ignorance, I don't see the true picture. I just see the action or the happening as it is. But if we were to become a little wiser and observe the deeper consequences of these very same events, we would find that they are leading us rapidly towards the divine, the beloved. It's being stated as a fact, and if we do take out some moments to reflect, through our lives, in our lives, for our friends, our relatives, and ourselves, we will see for sure that this is true. Whereas easy and pleasant circumstances encourage us to dally on the path. Dally means we'll just, walk around, dilly-dally, slowly, to stop along the way to pluck the flowers of pleasure which present themselves to us and which we are too weak or not sincere enough to reject resolutely so that our march forward is not delayed. We keep stopping whenever we get pleasure. We just, put on, I mean, if we had to, maybe we can just put on tents, but we start building houses. Oh, this has given me this, and now this is what I want forever. And it never lasts. In the Upanishads, a very, very, very common example for this is that when you have a nightmare, it is then that you wake up. If you have good dreams with a big smile, you keep on sleeping so that we don't spend our lives sleeping, or spend our life asleep. Because we might look physically awake, but we often are not leading lives in which we are truly awake. We are just leading, things are leading us, conditionings are leading us, moralities, ethics, responsibilities, duties of being so and so leads us. So we don't stop, we don't pause, we don't say, Arey, chal kya raha hai? What is this life? And as you know, in Buddhism, they say that may this precious human birth not go waste. So on the same lines, Mother says, so that our march forward is not delayed. Because this is what pleasure does to me. Yeah, just pausing here if there are any comments, reflections. Okay. So it's, I think, quite self-explanatory, but just going through it. One must already be very strong, very far along the way to be able to face success and the little enjoyments it brings without giving way. Those who can do this, those who are strong, do not run after success, they do not seek it and accept it with indifference. So it's being said that usually we get so enamored by success and our enjoyments that our achievements give us that we lose track of where we are going and why. We lose the sincerity, the center of my being, my sadhana, and I go astray. And she says that one must be very strong to be able to face success without giving way. Those who can do this, those who are strong, do not run after success, they do not seek it and accept it with indifference. For they know and appreciate the value of the lashes given by unhappiness and misfortune. You know how visual it is, and I mean, for him to use the word lash, for her to use the word lashes, for they know and appreciate the value of the lashes given by unhappiness and misfortune. But I cry out, right? At every poke, every rub, I cry out. And here she's saying that we need lashes to wake up. We need lashes to meet our beloved. And these lashes are given to us by unhappiness and misfortune. But it's a blessing, really, because as Sri Aurobindo said, that makes it possible for me to meet my lover. It doesn't have to be this way. But as we were discussing both, yesterday, uh, you know, uh, for some today, in the Friday study circle, when we were reading about will in the heroic heart, also the session on Thursday, we were touching upon the same thing. So just taking the last paragraph, but ultimately the true attitude, and this is what we are reading here in Looking from Within, right? We are studying the attitude. So the true attitude, the sign and proof that we are near the goal, is a perfect equality which enables us to accept success and failure, fortune and misfortune, happiness and sorrow with the same tranquil joy, for all these things become marvelous gifts that the Lord in His infinite solitude showers upon us. So I run after pleasure, I run away from, pain, on failure, from misfortunes, from sorrows. But once one is equanimous, when one is still, one sees that one has to give both of these things equally, give up. It's usually, say it's like a coin. I reach out for heads, I reach out for beauty, I reach out for achievements of joy. I go pick up that coin, that, oh, I just want beauty and progress and pleasures. But along with that coin, in my lower uh, nature, graspings and greeds and desires, along with heads, tail is always. So whenever I pick up a coin, I pick up a duality. And here they say that, I have to be equanimous both in pain and pleasure. Again, nothing new. And yet we need these reminders. So it has to be equal. And I remember, and I've shared this before, there's this mystic called Akhand Anand. He was a guru with the ashram in Vrindavan. And once, when I was listening to something, he had said that, the equanimity has to be so much. And he had said it in Hindi कि तुम्हारे घर से एक अर्थी उठ रही हो या तुम्हारे घर पे एक नया बच्चा, a newborn is coming in your home, your state of consciousness is same. Your state of reaction is same. It's just another event. So in the ocean, it's just another wave, not a good wave, not a bad wave, not a pleasurable wave, not a painful wave, just a wave. And it sounds amazing that this is my possibility, that I can react to a funeral and a birth with the same attitude and accept it with the same grace.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Taru, are you talking about that Jeevan Ek Yatra free of video?
It's possible. I don't remember the name. Do you watch his series?
54 तो वीडियो है उसमें.
Yeah. Wow. Are you also familiar with that?
Yeah. 5
Okay.
videos I have watched.
Okay. Yeah, 54 videos it had, and they're beautiful series. Yeah.
But it is difficult to understand. Some words are difficult to understand.
Yes, Sham. Yeah, but just like how
Because
everything
it is in
takes
pure
getting
Hindi.
used to, exactly. But once you start listening and you start making sense of words, and these days everything is there on Google, and Hindi words meaning as well. When you start making sense of the words, then it flows very fine. And feel free to, just message or call if there's something you don't, I don't know, comprehend or the word seem stuff. I'll be happy to discuss in whatever capacity I can. Yeah. No, he's not very famous. I am very pleasantly surprised that you're aware. Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Yeah. Any reflections on what we have read so far before we go forward? Okay. So if anybody has the capacity, if they can please read the next paragraph, next passage, to be free from all preference. Yeah, if there's nobody who can read, I'll read. Yeah, thank you, Deepa.
To be free from all preference and receive joyfully whatever comes from the divine will is not possible at first for any human being. What one should have at first is the constant idea that what the divine wills is always for the best, even when the mind does not see how it is so. To accept with resignation what one cannot yet accept with our desires. In our ignorance, we call them misfortunes and lament. But if we were to become a little wiser and observe the deeper consequences of these very same events, we would find that they are leading us rapidly towards the divine, the beloved. Whereas easy and pleasant circumstances encourage us to dally on the path, to stop along the way to pluck the flowers of pleasure which present themselves to us and which we are too weak or not sincere enough to reject resolutely, so that our march forward is not delayed. One must already be very strong, very far along the way, to be able to face success and the little enjoyments it brings without giving way. Those who can do this, those who are strong, do not run after success, they do not seek it and accept it with indifference. For they know and appreciate the value of the lashes given by unhappiness and misfortune. But ultimately, the true attitude, the sign and proof that we are near the goal, is a perfect equality which enables us to accept success and failure, fortune and misfortune, happiness and sorrow with the same tranquil joy. For all these things become marvelous gifts that the Lord, in His infinite solicitude, showers upon us, the Mother. Is that enough?
Yeah, but it seems that this was just a repetition, right? It's a little bit more, maybe a paragraph more, but the same thing has been copied. So we'll move forward. So just, I think it's the same thing, right? To be free from all preferences, receive joyfully. Yeah. Yeah. So if it's fine with you, you can read the next smaller one from Sri
Sure.
Aurobindo. Thank you.
Would that be from To Be Free, right? To be free from all preference and receive joyfully whatever comes from the divine will is not possible. Isn't this a repetition again?
Yeah. To accept. Yeah, but it's a bit different. Yeah, you can read it.
Okay. Okay. To be free from all preference and receive joyfully whatever comes from the divine will is not possible at first for any human being. What one should have at first is the constant idea that what the divine wills is always for the best, even when the mind does not see how it is so. To accept with resignation what one cannot yet accept with gladness, and so to arrive at a calm equality which is not shaken, even when on the surface there may be passing movements of a momentary reaction to outward happenings. If that is once firmly founded, the rest can come. Sri Aurobindo.
Yes, thank you so much. There are times, like talking about from my life, and I'm sure the others, all of us would have felt that when things are not going my way, and a part of me is like struggling, maybe, burning with pain or some desire. And it's like, why can't I have this or this? Why can't this be? And yet there is a part in me which is, sitting in me and saying, but this is so good for me. But this is so good for me. So, this part where he says to accept with resignation what one cannot yet accept with gladness. So, gladness is where I'll reach once I'll see for sure, when I'll know that the whole universe is not conspiring against me, which I sometimes feel that what is happening? Where is this world going? But when I see the bigger picture, I'll be able to see that it is for my own good. And I'll be glad for all the things. But till then, if I can accept with this with resignation, if I cannot accept it with gladness, and so to arrive at a calm equality which is not shaken, even when on the surface there may be passing movement of a momentary reaction to outward happenings. If we truly trust someone, if we just talk about human relationships, if we truly trust someone, we say that yes, he will do what is best for me, for sure. Say, it could be our parents, it could be a partner, it could be a child. We'd be like that, this person can do no harm. I would never ever doubt him or her. And we often fall flat on our nose and often do not. But the point is that the same faith I don't have in the universe, the same faith I don't have in the divine, the source from which I have come. It is very strange. So here it is being said that even when on the surface there may be passing movement of a momentary reaction to outward happening, I might be crying that, oh God, what have you done? But something in me is firmly founded that no, there must be something in it. That's why it has happened. So from here, the process starts, and Sri Aurobindo says the rest can come. So, yes, Sham, please.
Yeah, well, Taru, actually, in the Sufi school of thought, there's the concept of the Frida or resignation, resignation to the will of Almighty. So why does to imbibe it, Taru, why don't we are not able to imbibe it fully, we are able to imbibe it in bits and parts in our being. And many a times, even though people reach the 30 or maybe, but they are not able to imbibe it fully and they still think that they can manage and control things and events in the way they would like it to. And they know that they can't control. Deep down in the heart of their hearts and in the mind of their minds, people still know that they can't control. And they need to resign to the will of Almighty or the Divine. But still people procrastinate and cry it out and cry it day in, day out. So how do you explain this? And why doesn't it come easy to us?
Yeah, Sham, why don't you tell me why? Why don't you tell me about yourself, maybe? What is the reason you think this happens?
Maybe conditioning can be one part
Mm-hmm.
of it. Our family background, the
Mm-hmm.
way we have been trained, that can be the second thing.
Mm-hmm.
And third thing, we are not able to quieten our mind in the way that JK has said in one of his videos, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Means there's our mind is always chattering like anything.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the third one is the strongest of all the three causes that are listed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, again, we know this, right? We know that when I'm given a tight slap, and it might be for something that, it must be, it usually is for places I don't need to be in. When I'm going astray and I'm given a slap, why do I cry out? Because the slap hurts. And who does it hurt? My ego, more than anything, more than the physical pain, more, more often, it hurts. And I cry out कि मुझे कैसे मार दिया, मेरे को कैसे बोल दिया. This is wrong, this is right. So like you said, this is a conditioning. I have been told always to run after comforts, of pleasures. If we have a child, we aspire कि इसको कोई दुख ना देखना पड़े. बस खुशी, खो, दूधो, नहाओ, फूटो, फलो, something like this. These are our blessings and in good aspiration, but because it hurts, I cannot accept pain to be a blessing mostly. And yet, there are people, there are consciousnesses, there are circumstances in which we are woken up and we see. I'm also reminded that Monica's blog, she doesn't blog very often, but she used to do it daily almost before. It's called the gift of cancer. And I think we have discussed it before. But how, when one is going through something, if one can parallelly see that, man, it hurts, but what it's giving me, that's very beautiful and with a lot of grace. So, yeah, so the ego wants control and it says, I've got it. And yes, Deepa.
I feel like when, in the context that we are discussing, when it is happening to somebody else, it is easier for me to see the bigger picture. And I think, itna kyu chhatpata rahe? Like, because I'm detached from that situation when it is happening to somebody else. But when the same thing or something minor or bigger happens to me, the pain feels very real. And that's because I'm so attached to that particular desire or something that I want fulfilled. And I think this detachment and that attachment is what causes, for me, the detachment causes me to see the bigger picture, and the attachment makes it more difficult for me to see the bigger picture. So I see a different reaction when it is others, and I see a different reaction when it is myself. Um, and yet, when I move forward through life and when I look back at that event, now I can see the bigger picture. So, but I think that present, working it out in the present has still not come for me, where I can still remove myself from the situation and say either so what, or say that, as Nandini had shared today about Krishnamurti, about J. Krishnamurti, where he says that I'm present and you just accept it. It's happened, and don't resist it and just let it flow. So, but that's so difficult to practice right now for me.
Yeah, thank you. Although we do, it's like, say, if I look at you, maybe I would see you're already practicing it. So a lot of time things escape us also. And yet it's something that we can do, more and more and more of. And what you were discussing, basically in short, it's like we are too close to ourselves, right? We cannot see things for what they are because I just am sitting right on top of it and I can't see the bigger picture. And from where I see it, from the attached position, attached means too close, standing on it, sticking on it. I can't see it. So, what is the solution? What is the way forward? The stepping back, right? The stepping back. And that always, that witness consciousness that we talk about, or simply stepping back, that what is happening, let me step back and see. Then things suddenly start making a lot of sense. And we had discussed it, I don't know in which session, that, in Savitri, there are these beautiful lines, I'm just paraphrasing, where they say that, then he moved away from the realm of thoughts because he could see that the mind and the thoughts, they just show an arc of the circle. They never show the complete circle. So now he moved beyond because he wanted to see the complete picture. So what we are always seeing are arcs, and if we know that, we might, struggle a bit less, suffer a bit less. That, yeah. Yeah, so this we have done. And again, all the reasons that Sham stated, Deepa was reflecting, it's just that the ego jumps on it, and that's the reason we are not able to accept it or give away the control. So this section we have completed. If there's anything from anyone, we can take it. Otherwise, the next one is living within, number 10. It's small thing from mother, and then Sri Aurobindo. Living within. Okay, so I'll take this. I'm assuming there's nothing from anyone. So the first passage, the first line says, to live within in constant aspiration towards the divine that renders us capable of regarding life with a smile and remaining in peace, whatever the external circumstances. Reading this again, to live within in constant aspiration towards the divine that renders us capable of regarding life with a smile and remaining in peace, whatever the external circumstances. So no matter what is happening outside, if I'm living within in constant aspiration, this is what called living within. To live within a constant aspiration towards the divine, this renders us capable of regarding life with a smile and remaining in peace, whatever the external circumstances, because I know that I am being taken towards this aspiration. Whatever I've been given is there so that I can transcend it. This is by the mother. The next one is live within, do not be shaken by external circumstances. The mother. He who lives to serve the truth is not affected by outward circumstances. The mother. When I have seen that the outer circumstances are superficial, again, what we were discussing, waves in the oceans. Here, once it was this beautiful visual that came to me. I just discussed it, that one thing is I am standing in the waves, right? Right where the waves come and hit. I'm standing there and every wave is hitting, boom, damn, and it's quite a strong tide maybe, and I'm standing in the wave, sometimes strong, sometimes not. The other position for me is I am standing outside the ocean looking at the waves. Like I can see the waves, I can feel the wind, I can feel some water, some spray. I'm very close to it, and yet I'm not in it. This is a step back position. That okay, it's coming to me, it's coming so close, and yet I am a bit step back, so I can see things clearly then. And one of the other positions is I'm inside the depth of the ocean. I'm inside the deep end. And there the waves are happening. Maybe I can see it from far. And it's just waves. Nothing touches, nothing moves. I know it's the nature of the ocean to have waves. And similarly, I know that it's the nature. This is how things are, how we say this is samsara, how Jetsun Malauran and Buddhism says that we know this is how it is. So how do we cry out? How do we say, oh, this hurts, or why that wave, why this wave, oh, another wave? When we know waves is what the surface of the ocean has. That helps us in seeing, sometimes when I'm going through something or somebody says something and I find myself disturbed, the fact that I am getting disturbed, I feel that maybe there's something here, something where I'm stuck. Otherwise, why would there be this resistance? So, depends on where you're standing, you will be able to see that these are just external circumstances and not the real thing. In that book, the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse that we took up in Harmony Circle, it had that, right? That the blue sky is always there. The storms come and go. And even a lot of other people, I think even Pema Chodron, she had mentioned that, the sky is there and I'm the sky, and these are just clouds. Like the weather changes, but the sky is. So the ocean, the depth is, and waves go up and down. So he who lives to serve the truth is not affected by outward circumstances, because I'm so busy serving the truth that they don't matter. Because the truth matters too much for smaller things to matter. Yeah, pausing for any reflections, any concerns on these three lines that we have read from the mother. Okay, so now these two are from Shri Aurobindo, and he says, you have only to remain quiet and firm in your following of the path and your will to go to the end. If you do that, circumstances will in the end be obliged to shape themselves to your will, because it will be the divine will in you. So rereading is, you have only to remain quiet and firm following in your following of the path and your will to go to the end. Quiet, firm in my following of the path and my will to go to the end. If you do that, circumstances will in the end be obliged to shape themselves to your will, because it will be the divine will in you. So how much power I have, and how for small controlling of my circumstances, I sell myself short. So how Sham was saying, right? That how we don't want to believe that I don't have control. And all I need is to remain quiet and firm. So circumstances, no matter where they are going, if I am quiet, I am truly firm, centered within me, the circumstances will be obliged to shape themselves to my will, because then it would not be just my will, it will be the divine's will in me. And the next one says, in the next one he says, remain fixed in the sunlight of the true consciousness, for only there is happiness and peace. They do not depend upon outside happenings, but on this alone. So rereading it, remain fixed in the sunlight of the true consciousness. If I am standing in the truth, the sunlight of the true consciousness, very visual, for only there is happiness and peace. So in my littleness, in my I-ness, in my me-ness, there is no happiness, true happiness. There is no true peace. Because they are dependent on circumstances. And that's how I live. Everything, everything in me depends on what's happening. Is it a good day, bad day? How are people? Somebody said this to me. Life did this to me. So if my happiness, peace is dependent on the outer circumstances, which it is 99% of the time, how can I be happy or at peace? But when my happiness and peace depends on the true consciousness, the truth, on it, no matter what happens, then that is happiness and peace, and they do not depend upon outside happenings, but on this alone, that I know that things are happening for the good. They know. I don't know why, but these lines are coming to me that yeah, it got mixed up. Two things. Forget it. Yeah. So remain fixed in the sunlight of true consciousness, for only there is happiness and peace. Any time something happens to me, I have a choice to be the little me, crying out or reacting or laughing with happiness that yes, this ambition, yes, I've achieved this, or this was taken away from me. Or I can choose to be in the true consciousness, choose to be centered. And in stillness, there is this happiness and peace. They do not depend upon outside happenings, but on this alone. Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, anything by anyone before we move on to the next one? We have we can at least go for another 10 minutes. Meditations on circumstances. Yeah, hi Seema, welcome. Yeah.
Hi, sorry for being late.
You came, that matters most. So yeah. So we're just going through some passages, Seema. So this is your first time. Maybe some things might not make sense, but we'll just see what does, and we can always talk later if there's any question or concern. Yeah. So we are in this session going through a compilation called Looking from Within. Usually how our eyes are always out, right? We are deciding
Yeah,
everything based on the circumstances that I am. They're always facing out. But when we look from within, we are able to see the truer things, right? The truth behind the things. And that
yeah,
helps us in making sense, the true sense of what's happening and why.
true.
Yeah, so we'll
Makes sense.
continue. So if anybody is willing and if they have the capacity, we can take this last passage for today. It's number 11, meditations on circumstances. So if anybody can read, otherwise I will go. Okay. Okay,
Should I
thank
read
you.
it?
Yeah, thank you, Daisy.
Meditations on circumstances. Every morning, my aspiration rises ardently to thee, and in the silence of my satisfied heart, I ask that thy law of love may be expressed, that thy will may manifest. And in anticipation, I adhere with joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will. Oh, why be restless and want that for oneself things should turn out in one way and not another? Why decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of the best possibilities and then launch into a bitter struggle so that these possibilities may be realized? Why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy law may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism? How the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude. How all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination, to the omnipotence of disinterestedness. To will what thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with thee, to be delivered from all contingencies, to escape all narrowness, to fill one's lungs with pure and wholesome air, to get rid of all useless weariness, be relieved of all cumbrous loads, so as to run briskly towards the only goal worth attaining, the triumph of thy divine law. O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet thee this morning, the Mother.
Yeah, so I think this is, thank you, Deepak, rare. It appears, from the book Prayers and Meditations by the Mother. So that's why it's worded like this. So Mother says that every morning, my aspiration, aspiration is what I would want to be, not as an ambition, not as an achievement, not as a, as truly what I aspire to be, spiritually mostly, and other things in life. So every morning, my aspiration rises ardently, very strongly to thee, thee referring to the divine. And in the silence of my satisfied heart, if I'm not satisfied, if I'm not content, if I'm restless, then nothing moves, right? Because I'm all spread out, I'm all dispersed, I'm not gathered. I don't have the strength or the power to do anything. But she says, in the silence of my satisfied heart, I ask that thy law of love may be expressed and thy will may manifest. That may love win, may love be expressed, and may thy will, teri marzi jo hai, that should happen. So thy law of love may be expressed, that thy will may manifest. And in anticipation, I adhere with joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will. So if I have a choice, if I'm saying, oh my God, this was done to me, I'll go and just, bash that person, hit that person. I don't know what words to use. I can go there. But if I adhere with joy and serenity to those circumstances, that if this has happened to me, there must be some learning here. There must be some growth here. This must be His will. I would react differently, but this comes from the silence of our satisfied hearts. So I adhere with joy. Adhere is, I am standing, I'm holding on with joy and serenity to those circumstances which will express this law and this will. Oh, why be restless and want that for oneself? This is what Sham a few minutes back was saying, that why? Why do I not see this when it's so obvious? So that's what Mother is saying, that why be restless and want that for oneself? Things should turn out in one way or not another. Knowing that I always see the limited, knowing that I don't see the big picture, knowing that I truly don't know what leads me where. I still say, this is what I want, this is how I want it to be done, this is good, this is bad. So here Mother is saying, but why do I want or should I want that things should be one way and not another? Why decide that a particular set of circumstances will be the expression of the best possibilities, then launch into a bitter struggle so that these possibilities may be realized? This is where I spend my energy. I don't spend my energy in getting my lesson, in becoming stronger, in holding on to my center, in believing that, yes, if my God has given me this, He's mine. There must be something in me. It is a gift. It is a gift. But in reality, what I do is I just become bitter. I start struggling. I start crying, but it hurts. So here she's saying, why do we do that? Because why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of the inner confidence that thy will may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulties, all egoism, and all darkness. So if I have to do something, and I will do something, I usually don't just not do anything. So the energy I have is limited. I can either spend it in crying, accusing, being bitter, or she's saying, why not use all one's energy solely to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy will may triumph everywhere and always over all difficulty, all darkness, all egoism. So where does it wants to triumph? Triumph is winning. Where do I want to win? Not in shaping the circumstances, saying that this, oh, I wanted this, I won. Oh, I didn't want this, I lost. So she's saying use the same energy to will in the calm of inner confidence that thy law, that the God's law may triumph. Triumph is winning everywhere and always over all difficulties, all darkness, all egoism. Though I don't say, my prayer is not that, don't give me difficulty, don't give me slaps, don't give me shocks. But what do I pray for here? What am I aspiring? That give me the strength to go over anything that you would want me to experience. So you know how they say that don't teach a man to fish. Sorry, don't give a man fish, teach them fishing so that he can then fish and be, satiated throughout his life. So here, if I just keep on looking at the circumstances कि ये हो रहा है जैसे भगवान ये मत करना बस ये ठीक कर दे वो ठीक कर दे, then I am just moving from one circumstance to the other, struggling, suffering, sometimes happy, sometimes sad. तो यहाँ पे मैं ये नहीं मांग रहा हूँ कि बस ये दे दे ये दे दे ये दे दे. What am I asking? That no matter what you give, my Lord, make me that strength that can take everything. So then the outer circumstances won't matter. But if I have to spend my energy somewhere, may it be here, that may you win, and may you always win over all difficulties which I go through, all darkness in and around me, and this egoism that me and the world is full of. May the difficulty, the darknesses, the egoism never win. May you win. May you win over them. And what is this winning? What does it mean for me is something not, we must take today, right? That if I am crying and saying that, oh, what is happening, and then for 2 years, 20 years, I'm in the trauma of it, then the darkness is winning, then the difficulty is winning, then the egoism is winning, then truth is not winning. So I have the choice to see whether my truth, the truth that I see, there's no my truth, may it win in me and around me. This reminds me in, Sri Aurobindo's poem, the Savitri, not the Savitri. There's this beautiful, beautiful line that when the god of death is there to take Satyavan, and when Savitri is saying that, no, no, you can't take him, you can't take him. So how? Savitri says, and when the god of death, he says, "Ki, what are you saying? This is the law. What do you mean not take it? What are you talking about? Like, it's like almost like, are you crazy?" And she says that, no, what you're saying is right. Maybe this is the law. But I don't serve the God that slays, who kills. I serve the God that saves. So I change. And we know that he had to give Satyavan back. So do I believe in it? Do I believe in it myself? Yesterday I went somewhere and I had a certain thing that, okay, I would want this to happen. And the person opposite to me, they said that, no, but this is not a possibility. We cannot do it this year, but maybe we can talk about next year. So I could have gotten up, but I said, no, but this is what I want. This is what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about next year. And with the strongness with which they had come, it felt like that's not a possibility. So I could have said that, अरे उसने तो बोल दिया है, अब तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता. But because I was firm, or I had that certitude that no, I want to talk about this thing, in a second the person changed that, oh, okay, then shoot me an email, send me these things, and I will consider. So it was very pleasant for me to see that lot of times we feel कि अब बोल दिया तो बोल दिया, हो गया तो हो गया. It's unquestionable, but nothing is unquestionable. Everybody is like me, right? We have opinions, we have duties, we have guidelines, and yet we are willing to change. We are willing to open things. So that's very reflective, and it helps us if we see that. So taking it forward, how the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude. How I can see just this much, but when I'm seeing more, suddenly my whole horizon where I'm living, not just my eyes, the whole horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude. How all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination to the omnipotence of disinterestedness. How the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude of, not playing the victim, seeing that may he win. How all anxiety vanishes, and anxiety comes to the little me, to the ego. Mera kya hoga? How we go lashing out, right? But how all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination. There's a light which is always there, to the omnipotent, that ever powerful. What is ever powerful? Disinterestedness, udasinta, as we, when we hear about the original texts, the way it's called is udasinta. So ud is above, sinta is seated. Or is it opposite? Yeah, above. Yeah. So one is seated above. So when things are happening, when the waves are crashing, I am disinterested. And when can I be disinterested? I cannot be disinterested if I'm standing in the waves, but I can be disinterested a little bit if I'm standing next to the waves. It helps me, like Deepa was sharing. And if I'm standing in the depths of the ocean, then I can be truly disinterested. And what does disinterested means for me? I'm not my little self. I am more expanded. So there is that disinterestedness. And this is what almost every master and every mystic has asked me. This is the place where they ask me to stand in disinterestedness. I'm doing things because I love to do this out of joy. The result does not matter. I don't have this thing कि अरे इसके साथ तो ये मिलना चाहिए, ये expectation है, ये end result है. Everything I'm doing just because I love to do that. There are bigger things at play, but the result or what's happening out of that, I'm not that interested. I am content. If somebody loves to run, they're so happy running that lot of times if there's a race, they'll be like, oh, I enjoy that. I don't know what place I came in. So how the horizon widens as soon as one learns to take this attitude, how all anxiety vanishes, giving place to a constant illumination, to the omnipotence of disinterestedness. So it's very beautiful how the word omnipotence and disinterestedness, the way we see here. To will what thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with thee. So how do I will what you will? I can only do that when I'm living constantly in communion, I think in thee, with communication, within them, with thee, to be delivered from all contingencies, to escape all narrowness. Usually, whenever I'm playing the I card, me card, it's always narrow. I feel my consciousness constricting, but mera kya hoga? There's a smallness I feel. So to will what thou willest, O Lord, is to live constantly in communion with thee, to be delivered from all contingencies, to escape all narrowness, to fill one's lungs with pure and wholesome air, to get rid of all useless weariness, be relieved of all compressed loads, so as to run briskly towards the only goal worth attaining, the triumph of thy divine law. So, Abhi, where am I standing? I need to win. I need to do this. This needs to happen. This is what I need to achieve, or somebody next to me needs to achieve. If this happens, life is good. If this happens, God is kind. Me, 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 me. But to escape all narrowness, to fill one's lung with pure and wholesome air, what my lungs are full of is not wholesome. It's just, that I'm in that small room and it's the recirculated air. And that makes me tired. Playing the it's just being the little me. It's tiring, it's exhausting, it's painful. It's like I'm carrying all the loads कि मुझे अपना I have to take care of myself. This is important and I have to be here to get rid of all useless weariness, to be relieved of all cumbrous loads, heavy loads. So I have to do this so as to run briskly. So very fast I have to run towards the only goal worth attaining. So many goals I might have, 110. which don't really take me somewhere, but they do give me a small sense of achievement when I get them. But what is a goal worth attaining? Mother says the triumph, the winning of thy divine law. And here, we spend lives bowing down to the worldly laws, which give me nothing. And those are there for the society, but once I'm on the path, once I'm under the divine's rule, then the divine law matters. And my work, as Mother says, is my goal should be the only worthwhile goal is the triumph of thy divine law, everything else. Because I am a ego. What I'm catering to is other egos. They never do any good to anyone. I might very strongly believe that if I do this, this would hurt them, this would hurt her, this is good, this is bad, but the truth suffers. And if the truth suffers, nobody wins. If the truth loses, nobody wins. So the only goal worth attaining, the strength of thy divine law, O Lord, with what joy and trust I greet thee this morning. So when Mother is writing this prayer, feeling this prayer, she says, oh, with what joy and trust. This cannot be done without trust. I greet thee this morning, the Mother. This was truly beautiful, and I'm glad this came today at this time. We always would want to be reminded of this. It's like we go here and there, and this brings us back. So any comments, reflections, questions on this before we end?
Yeah, Taru, one question. Like a lot of times, there are circumstances when it feels that, okay, if this is happening, let it be, let it happen. This might be the divine's will. It must be for the best. I should um, just in a way, not interfere in what is happening. But then, like you shared about your yesterday's example, wherein you went somewhere and that person told you something, but you wanted something else, so you insisted, and then they said, okay, you write an email. So here, if we see that at the first go only, when that person said that this is not possible, so considering it's the divine will, should you not have just said, okay, if this is not possible, let it be?
Yeah, so Ritu, यहाँ पे ना जैसे often we discuss about passivity and active dynamism. So it's not that whatever is happening through me, if I am limited, I cannot do or kind of, channel the divine will as it is. So in big picture, truly in my center, if tomorrow, yesterday she would have said, no, it's not possible. Nothing in me would have moved. But that doesn't mean I will not make effort. But वो result का मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Effort तो मेरे हाथ में है. तो वो effort तो मुझे करना है. जैसे surrender may we feel, this is a common problem that we feel when we say, okay, I surrender. I feel it has to be a passive surrender कि बस अब जो तू बोले तेरी मर्जी. बट मुझे अपना काम करना है. मुझे अपनी ऊंचाइयों को हासिल करना है. But
This is very confusing, at times it is as if that, ठीक है, मतलब you've tried and then it didn't happen. But then you could give up thinking that, okay, maybe it's for the best. Maybe there's something wonderful in this too. But then again, there is a thought that you could have tried even harder, even harder. I mean, there is no end to trying. You can go on trying till the time what you wanted doesn't happen or happens. So there it's gets very confusing that did I just try stop just when I was about to reach there, because I thought that let it, I've tried so much now, let it let it happen the way the divine wants.
अब सी जैसे एक चीज है एफर्ट, है ना, फिजिकल एफर्ट, फिजिकल मूवमेंट, और एक चीज है कि वेयर एम आई सिटिंग. So effort, if I can give 100 effort, I must give 110 effort if something that is important to me. But what we are talking about, what mother is talking about here, is the position, the place from which I am acting. So usually when I am making an effort, and tell me if I am wrong, there is a feverishness, right? कि अरे मैंने इतना एफर्ट करा है, अरे ये तो होना ही चाहिए. So this is where we kind of lose the sight. The result becomes more than what you are doing, more than yourself, more than life. But when we're talking about disinterestedness, you're doing everything you can or more. When we meet people, say, running ashrams, doing big projects, they're doing so much. And yet there is a calmness, a peace in which they are sitting, they are standing, they are living. So how mother says that always forward, always forward. And once Monica had shared that when they were doing a school play, a very big project. So while the play was still being rehearsed, mother said, "What is the play we'll do next year? Let's start thinking about that." ये जो हमें लगता है कि अगर मैंने बोल दिया कि हाँ जो तेरी मर्जी, मेरा सर झुका हुआ है, that means I don't do anything, which is a very common thing that we all do. There comes some jadta, there comes, an inactivity then. That is not what we are talking about. It's a dynamic life. I have to make effort. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And yet, it doesn't matter what I get or not get. It doesn't matter if something is given or taken to me. It doesn't move me. But, karma yogi. I am doing my karma. I am doing my effort. Because without that, I will not reach anywhere. पैसिविटी नहीं है, बहुत एक्टिवनेस है. बट अंदर जहां पे मैं बैठी हूँ वो एक आई एम सिटिंग next to the divine. I'm sitting on stillness, on contentment. So how I think Acharya ji, I must have shared it many times. There's this title of one of his video that the race was won by the one who did not run. So running, if I want to run, I must run. It's nice. But that doesn't mean that the winning or losing would make any difference. I mean, if I win, I lose, that's fine. If I want to run, if I feel strongly about running, I must run. But वो जो feverishness आ जाती है, restlessness आ जाती है, I पहले I am in control of circumstances or I'm just doing things. But then I realize, or I might not realize, I become a puppet of those circumstances, those goals. They start ruling me. मैं हिला पड़ाता रहता हूँ कि अरे ये नहीं हो रहा, अरे वो नहीं हो रहा. मेरे गोल्स होते हैं और वो मेरे को ही ओवरटेक कर लेते हैं. मैं छोटा हो जाता हूँ, गोल्स बड़े हो जाते हैं. तो गिविंग whatever belongs where I keep it there. एफर्ट आई हैव टू मेक, उसमें कभी कोई कमी नहीं आनी चाहिए, और आती है तो दैट इज मोस्टली लेजीनेस और जड़ता. बिकॉज ईगो क्लास्प ऑन दिस कि अरे उन्होंने तो कहा था कि कुछ करना ही नहीं है, सब कुछ उसकी मर्जी है. अगर पूरी गीता अगर हम देखें, यू नो ही सेज के अर्जुन तू कर्म कर, तू फल की चिंता नहीं कर. उसने ये नहीं बोला तू जाके सो जा, अरे वही तो हो रहा है जो मैं कर रहा हूँ, मुझे मेरा रोल तो करना ही है. And this is a very big trap that a lot of us get stuck in. Then we don't want to do anything. We say that's it. But that's not at all what is being talked about. Surrender is never passive. Surrender never says, yes, only you. I have to make my efforts. But I am sitting at a place of already content, already good. कि जो ठीक है वो हो ही रहा है. ये हो ये ना हो, एफर्ट मेरा पूरा है. बट मैं उसमें ऊपर नीचे दाएं बाएं आई एम नॉट गोइंग. या प्लीज गो ऑन इफ you want to, we can talk more about it so that it's clear.
At times it becomes confusing that should I make more effort, or I've already made a lot of effort, now I should stop and see what happens, what unfolds on its own. So I don't know.
If I'm sitting at the right center, if the stakes, I can see that no matter the win or the lose, I am. Whether I live or die, I am. तो जब वो उसमें मैं ऊपर नीचे हर एक वेव के साथ ऊपर नीचे नहीं जा रहा हूँ, जितना एफर्ट मुझे ठीक लगता है मुझे करना चाहिए. 1 second. Yeah, so I think we'll end here and we'll discuss more. We can talk one to one too, because this is something that needs to be cleared for us as much as possible. So we'll end the session here today, and I also need to go, and the time is quite, yeah, we are at the end. So just thanking Grace, taking a minute and aspiring that, whatever I don't comprehend may it be shown to me. May I be able to, with a lot of confidence and faith, walk on this path and reach where I need to reach. So praying for contentment, joy, and peace for myself and everybody. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Taru.